Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to today's Stan Sports pay-per-view press conference right here on the Gold Coast. We have Tasman fighters Jai Opetaia versus Hussein Cinkara this Saturday's Ring of Fire event. Before we get started, I would like to let you know that there is a QR code on your screen. If you scan that code, it will get you into this weekend's pay-per-view, this amazing event that you do not want to miss out on. Make sure you can scan that QR code ahead of this Saturday's event. Joining me today, I have the amazing Ted Cofie to my left and the amazing Rob Schyff. Before we get into today's events, let's have a look at this fight card. Starting off this fight card from the bottom up, we have Jack Gregory versus Hayden Emerson fighting 10 by 3-minute rounds for the IBF Youth Middleweight World title. Rob, what were your thoughts on this one?
Look, what an amazing fight. One that absolutely everybody has to circle. If you want to get to the event early. This fight is going to be a barn burner. The IBF Youth Middleweight World title relinquished by Max McIntyre that he contested earlier this year. But two good blue-collar fighters in Jack the Hammer Gregory and obviously Hayden Hold My Beer Emerson. That one is going to be a real barn burner. Make sure you're in your seats and you do not blink. That's a fan favourite fight.
Up next on the card, we have Jason Maloney versus Herlan Gomez. They will be fighting 8 by 3-minute rounds for the WBC Australasian Bantamweight title. Teddy, thoughts?
Jason Maloney on a mission to achieve. You know, he's coming back from a couple of defeats, but here in Australia, looking to get back in the W and do something very special. So Gomez, as we heard him yesterday, he said that he was going to retire or quit, and then he got this call to come back in and have the fight. So it's all guns a-blazing for him. It's do or die, and it's going to be a great contest.
Third on the card, we have Gold Coast's very own Benny Marnie versus Winston Hill. They will be fighting 10 by 3-minute rounds for the IBF Pan-Pacific Super Welterweight title. Rob, what did you think of this one?
Look, a great fight. Again, the golden boy, Ben Marnie, he's a fan favourite, but he's got a very clear path now to possibly getting a world title in the super welterweight division. A stacked division here in Australia and around the world. But keep your eyes on Ben Marnie. He's very focused. Mick and Fran have done a great job in progressing him, and we could be looking in the next 18 months at a world title contender.
Next on the card, we have Taramoana versus Herman Montez. They will be fighting 6 by 3-minute rounds at heavyweight. Teddy.
Taramoana, I mean, need I say more? If you've got two first names or two separate names that are the same, that in itself is something special. But we're going to see if we can get into the second or third round, as we've heard. But we're all looking for a major shot. And he's fighting Montez, who's undefeated, with all of his wins coming by KO. So he's going to have something to offer. Hopefully, we'll see it go a few rounds, but we still want to see that devastating victory by knockout in the end.
And third from the top, we have an absolutely amazing matchup between Jake Wiley and Paul Fleming. They will be fighting 10 by 3-minute rounds at super lightweight. Rob, what would you think of this one?
Look, this is the most talked about fight in Australian boxing at the moment at the domestic level. The machine, Jake Wiley, has had such a great year. Short call up against George Kambosos. He's fought Yui Dib. And then we go to the former Olympian, the elite striker in Paul Showtime Fleming. Sometime out of the ring. But to come back against the machine versus Showtime, like, this is a big ask. The names say it all. This is going to be an absolute clinic of a fight. The work rate versus the elite striker. This is one for the fight fans, and it deserves the accolades of being one of the most talked about fights on this amazing card.
And second from the top, we have our co-main event. One I know you've all come to see. We have Max McIntyre versus Jed Morris. They will be fighting 8 by 3-minute rounds for the WBC Australasian Super Middleweight title. Teddy, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to say it the way Max McIntyre says it. It's the money show, baby. He's coming here to do something special and get that KO, but don't sleep on Jed Morris. He's here to really put up a good show and make a name for himself on Stan Pay-Per-View, this great platform that's going to display everything. So that one could actually steal the show, but we'll see what happens.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, our main event, December 6th on Stan Sports pay-per-view, we have Jai Opetaia versus Hussein Cinkara. They will be fighting 12 by 3-minute rounds. Jai will be defending his IBF and Ring Magazine Cruiserweight World titles. Teddy. Oh, Rob, sorry. Sorry,
Look, what
Rob.
a fight. This is another stepping stone for the legacy that is Jai Opetaia. He talks about earning it. Ted, you and I have seen him time and time again. This time, the only difference is that Cinkara has been calling out Jai. He now has the target on his back. The IBF and the Ring Magazine Cruiserweight champion, we haven't had one talked about so much since Usyk had the belts before him, Bradis before that, and even back to Holyfield. Jai is in the pound-for-pound talks at the moment. There's talks about him going into heavyweight, but he is absolutely the main event right here in Australia and in big conversations around the world, Ted.
Exactly right, Rob. I mean, Jai Opetaia is now big-time television, selling out arenas here in Australia and the whole world looking on. Jai respectfully wants all of the champions. He wants to unify the division, and this is the next step in that process. I don't believe he's taking his eye off the ball, but Hussein Cinkara coming all the way from Germany to do something special and really make a difference and change his life. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a real good one.
And there's been big talks as well, Benavidez and Zerdo Ramirez. So there is opposition out there for Jai. There's big names. Billum Smith's been thrown in there. But make no mistake, Jai sits at the top of the table. And look, he's trying to take all those spots, Ted, and make his way right the way through to be unified and undisputed at cruiserweight, and then make his way up to heavyweight.
Absolutely. Just to finalise, Rob, Jai is at the top of the food chain. You're at the top of the food chain too. Jai is at the top of the food chain in the cruiserweight division. Former cruiserweight champion here, and Danny Green, and people that have held the titles. And, the cruiserweight division, we had to really explain what it was, something in between heavyweight and light heavyweight. But now with Jai holding the mantle, everyone knows what the cruiserweight division is. There are heavy names coming into the cruiserweight division, and we're now going to make it a real big thing when we hopefully get it undisputed at the end of next year.
This is a super exciting boxing card for Australia. I'm so excited to see all of this play out on the big stage right here on the Gold Coast and Stan Sports pay-per-view. But now, let's meet some of these athletes. I'm going to be throwing over to your host, Thomas Schreiber.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the press conference for Ring of Fire, a great night of World Championship Boxing to be held this Saturday, December 6th, from Gold Coast Convention and Exhibition Centre in Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. It is being brought to you by Tasman Fighters in association with Gold Star Promotions, along with their great sponsors, Experience Gold Coast, the Ring Magazine, and Riyadh Season. A big thanks to those great sponsors. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a reminder, tickets are sold out, but you can still watch it live, exclusively in Australia on Stan Pay-Per-View. Use the QR code on your screen now for the subscription site. It will also be shown live worldwide on UFC Fight Pass. Let's get things started, and first welcome to the podium, Counselor Bob LaCastro.
Well, it's great to be here today, and the Gold Coast is certainly getting ready to rumble again with the return of the King of Cruiserweights, Jai Opetaia, who's in town again. And this is about as big as it gets. The IBF and Ring Magazine World Cruiserweight title defence hit right here again in our city. Quite a coup for experienced Gold Coast to pull this fight off because this will be the third world title fight in 12 months that Jai has fought here on the Gold Coast. Go back to January, of course, he cleaned up David Nikia, the former bronze medalist at the Olympics. In June, he accounted for Claudio Squeo, the undefeated Italian challenger at the time, and now, of course, he's taking on the undefeated Hussein Cinkara. It's going to be a great fight for the ages. There's a tremendous undercard as well, so there's going to be some incredible entertainment running from late afternoon all the way through into the night. I want to give a big shout out again to Experience Gold Coast for securing this fight, but also to Tasman Fighters for showing your faith in our city and returning again with elite boxing. Certainly through Stan and through the international coverage we're going to get from this exposure, it's going to keep us well and truly on the global boxing map. So everyone knows that this is a great place for elite boxing. With a sellout crowd, it also tells us that the Gold Coast is thriving when it comes to major events. I want to wish all the fighters the best of luck. Thank you for your professionalism, for your courage. Thank you for the great entertainment that you bring to the great sport of boxing. And hey, good luck to everyone. Thanks again for coming to the Gold Coast. Good luck, Jai.
All right, thank you, Counselor. Let's now welcome our press conference participants already seated. Competing Saturday in a 10-round contest for the vacant IBF Super Middleweight World Youth Championship. Let's welcome from Caboolture, Queensland, Australia, Hayden Hold My Beer Emerson. And from Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia, Jack Hammer Gregory. Competing Saturday in a scheduled 8-round contest, it will be for the vacant WBC Australasian Bantamweight Championship. Let's welcome from the Philippines, Herlan Negros Hitman Gomez. From Kingscliff, New South Wales, Australia, let's welcome the former world champion, Jason Mayhem Maloney. It will be a battle of the undefeated, competing Saturday in a 10-round contest for the vacant IBF Pan-Pacific Super Welterweight Championship. Let's welcome from Suva, Fiji, Winston Real Deal Hill. And from Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia, Ben Gold Coast Golden Boy Money. It will be the big boys of boxing, 6 rounds scheduled in the heavyweight division. Let's welcome from Chihuahua, Mexico, Herman El Bombon Montes. And from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, the former Olympian, Tara Moana. We now welcome Tasman Fighters promoter Mick Francis. And we welcome the host of today's press conference, Rob Schyff.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ring of Fire. It is fight week, and it has big fight week feels. A massive thank you to Mayor Tom Tate, Councillor Bob LaCastra for bringing this together. Obviously, we are now live on Stan Sports and UFC Fight Pass around the world, but this does have big fight feels written all over it. The card assembled by the man to my right, Mr. Michael Francis from Tasman Fighters, is one that will be talked about for many, many years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, Jai Opetaia versus Hussein Cinkara for the IBF and Ring Magazine cruiserweight titles. Jai absolutely killing it at the moment and at the forefront of Australian boxing. This fight is one that is definitely earmarked to be talked about around the world and around this country for a long time to come. Very special card that we have with us and some great fighters opening up at the moment. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are live on Stan Sports. The QR code is available for the pay-per-view because the crowd is completely sold out at the Gold Coast Convention Centre for the third time this year. So congratulations again to Mr. Michael Francis and Miss Fran Bradford for their amazing work. Also, live for the people around the world, a huge announcement. UFC Fight Pass has come on board. But let's right now talk about this amazing undercard. Fighting for the IBF Youth Middleweight World title. A great blue-collar fight that's talked about around Queensland, and for both fighters to make their name Australian known and around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack the Hammer Gregory versus Hayden Hold My Beer Emerson. I'm going to pass very quickly to Hayden Hold My Beer Emerson. Mate, you've had a busy year this year. You've done a lot of hard work at All-Star Boxing, and now you've got the opportunity to be on a huge card here, the Ring of Fire Opetaia versus Cinkara. The opportunity that has come to you, how do you feel about that, and facing the Hammer, Jack Gregory?
Facing Jack, my one job is to inflict as much damage as I possibly can. I'm in there to hurt people. I'm not in there to play games, but I'm either going to knock you out or you're going to get hurt.
Mate, you've made that very clear from the very get-go. What kind of fight can we expect from yourself and Jack Gregory for the people that haven't seen you fight before?
For the people that haven't seen me fight before, I'm a pressure fighter. I come forward. I don't take a backward step. I don't want to take a backward step, and I'm coming forward the whole fight, so be ready for it.
Now, your opponent, obviously, the Hammer, Jack Gregory, he's sitting here on the panel. Any messages for him quickly before we pass over to him?
Best of luck. You're going to need it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we love hearing that. Here, the Hammer, Jack Gregory, the IBF Youth Middleweight title on the line, relinquished by Money Max McIntyre. You've just heard your opponent, Hayden Hold My Beer Emerson. Firstly, would you like to respond to that?
We'll see on Saturday night. But yeah, thank you to Tasman and all the fighters who put the hard work in to get on this card. Without yous, we wouldn't be on this. But yeah, about me on Saturday night, I'm keen, I'm fit, I can switch hit, and on the night you'll see this big right. So yeah, we'll find out on Saturday night. Let the best man win.
Sounds like you've been rehearsing that as much as you have been in the ring, but great response there. You've been putting in the work with your father, Phil Swifty Gregory. How have you prepared for Hayden Emerson and obviously the work rate that he's going to bring?
As I prepare for every fight, 100%, and just do my skills and drills with Dad. And I don't want to say much more, but we'll find out on the night.
An IBF Youth Middleweight World title on the line, what would that mean for your career?
It's just the next stepping stone to my dreams. So yeah, that's the most exciting thing about it, getting this belt and then going on to the next chapter.
Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why this card is so talked about around the country and around the world is because we're starting with a great fight like that. So a round of applause for Jack Gregory and Hayden Emerson. From there we move to a former world champion, one that's well known in this part of the world because, make no mistake, the Gold Coast, Brisbane, Northern New South Wales, this is the mecca of Australian boxing. Jason Maloney, the former WBO bantamweight world champion versus Hernan Gomez. I'll start with Hernan Gomez. Mr. Gomez, welcome to Australia, and what do you think about this fight against Jason Maloney for the WBC Australasian bantamweight title?
Thank you, sir. First of all, I would like to thank God for this big opportunity to fight here. And also thank you so much to my manager, Sir Breco Santig, the Tasman promotion, to my family and my in the Philippines. And for this fight, I'm 100% ready, and I got a long training, and I will do my best for this fight.
And what are you expecting when you face Jason Maloney?
All the best champ for this fight, and see you in the ring.
Very good, ladies and gentlemen. Hernan Gomez has come all the way from the Philippines for this fight. We now pass over to the former WBO bantamweight world champion and a recent signing to Tasman Fighters that Mick Francis is very excited about. Jason Maloney, your opponent, is here now on the panel. Mate, any messages for him quickly?
Thanks for showing up. I know they were trying to make things a bit difficult for the guys yesterday, and yeah, I'm glad he's here, and yeah, looking forward to getting in the ring.
Now, you're no stranger to fighting opponents from Southeast Asia, the Philippines. They are notoriously big hitters. You've obviously prepared well with Angelo Hyder and Nobsy for this.
Of course, mate. Yeah, these guys are all dangerous, and I know he'll be coming to fight. I know he would have prepared well, and yeah, in this sport, you go from the penthouse to the doghouse real quick. So this is an important fight in my career. We've worked extremely hard in the gym, and yeah, I'm ready to show that I belong at the top and claw my way back up to the top and become world champion again. And this is the start of that.
Look, there, the crowd loves him now. Former WBO world champion. This for the WBC Australasian Bantamweight title. Mick and Fran have taken you on board at Tasman Fighters. They've got a path for you to go back to be a 2-time world champion. How good does that feel?
Yeah, that's the dream, mate. And I'm so grateful to Mick and Fran and Tasman Fighters for having me part of the team and put me on this awesome platform. I've got a great team behind me. I've got the work ethic to do it, and I'm confident we can get ourselves back to the top and as you said, become 2-time world champion.
Wow, Mick Francis, I might pass to you very quickly. Jason Maloney's a recent signing. He's a former WBO world champion. If you'd just like to grab the mic there, mate, and touch on this fight and what a great signing he is to Tasman Fighters.
Absolutely, because he's a great signing. You know, the opportunity came to sign Jason, and we took it with both hands. But you know, Jason's only 34. He's still got a lot of boxing left in him, so I couldn't be more happy to bring him on board and let's see where it goes. But I spoke to the team, Angelo and the guys, and they've got more plans, and they want to. You know, they think there's another world title fight in Jason, so we're happy to be a part of that and trying to create those opportunities for him.
Mate, what a great fight to have on the card as well. What a great card. Moving right along, we'll go to the fight that a lot of people around the Gold Coast are talking about. Ben, the Golden Boy, Marnie versus Winston Hill. And this one, Ben Marnie defending his IBF Pan-Pacific title. Winston Hill, all the way from Fiji. I'll pass to you quickly. Yesterday at the Grand Arrival, you said that in the end, it is two men in the ring. They are just humans with hands, and Ben Marnie can be found out very quickly. Do you stand by that statement, and how excited are you about this fight?
Ring of Fire, Tasman Fighters, it's a great opportunity to be here. And first and foremost, I just want to give glory to God for me just being here in front of so many beautiful people, talented athletes, and just a great atmosphere altogether. For a little Fiji boy being on this stage, it's a win for me. And at the end of all of this, I'll be walking away with my cup full. And that's the main thing for me in this. Experience-wise, we're going to bag it in. And training's been good. And I'll be sharing the ring with Ben Marnie. Great opportunity to learn and expose your golden boy.
Whew. I'm going to pass straight over to the Gold Coast Golden Boy. Ben Marnie, your response.
Yeah, it's the same story every time you fight someone new. They always say they're going to expose you, and I always end up with my hand up, so let's run it.
Winston, have you rolled some tape on Ben Marnie? What kind of fight are you expecting?
I know he's definitely much taller than I am. Very lengthy fighter. He's got fitness, he's got skill, he's got good control of range, very sharp, very talented. It can either be a boxing match or it can be a slugfest, whatever it is. We've got the gas tank that's ready to go, no doubt. 10 rounds of boxing or, man, whatever. We're ready to go.
Ben, defending your IBF Pan-Pacific Super Welterweight world title, Pan-Pacific Super Welterweight title. You are in a very stacked division now. He said that he wants to expose you. He says that he wants to break down the fight. He's saying all the right things, but what does this fight mean for you and your career?
Man, it just means the world to be on a platform with the guys that I'm sitting next to, in front of all you guys at my home. It's the best thing ever. It's a privilege. I train my heart out. I put my whole life into this, and I have since a very young pup. And this isn't where the story has a bump or where it ends. We're just beginning, and you know we're world ranked. We're 13 in the world right now, and I'm coming out to show everyone and myself why I belong here, and that's all I can say.
Stacked division, domestically and internationally. How do you see yourself matching up?
What, just in the world, in general? Man, I believe since the day I started this stuff, when I was doing Muay Thai and kickboxing, I always said I was going to be the best in the world. I always said I belong at the top, and I'm proving it step by step, whether they want to believe it or not. I'm here.
Yeah, Mick, now he's number 13 in the world. You've progressed him very well. He's got a tough opponent that's very confident in Winston Hill.
Yeah, that's right. Winston's actually, he can crack. make no mistake, he's come in the fight, and he is undefeated, and he has had some really good, tough fights along his road as well. But Benny Marnie, you know, what can we say? I believe that Benny Marnie is the best super welterweight in the country. It's yet to be seen, but he's a long way to go. But I feel as though that Benny given the right opportunities, he can go there. But yeah, we've got Benny for the next couple of years, and if we keep him active and he stays healthy, I think he can get a world title shot for sure.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Keep an eye out for the next 18 months for Ben Marnie, but that's a great fight. Winston Hill and the Gold Coast Golden Boy, Ben Marnie. From there, we're moving along. Terra versus German Montez, another international opponent for the highlight reel that is from the Cook Island, representing Australia, the former Olympian Terra Jr. I will start with Mr. Montez to begin with. You have a big opponent in front of you in Terra Moana. How do you break down this tall man when it comes to Saturday night?
Buenas tardes. Pues venimos a trabajar. Estuvimos entrenando para enfrentarlo. Traemos ahí pues, alguna estrategia para poder meternos, estar ahí en la corta y pues vamos a trabajar para ganar.
We put strategy in to defeat someone as big as Terra Moana. I'm confident that our strategy and our training has get us to the point where we can fight him good and get him down.
Now, for a lot of people that haven't realised, German Montez is a fan of the hero culture that's been fast growing across the world. He's going to have to put up a hero performance against Terra Moana. How do you believe that you can stop the big man, the human highlight reel?
Pues trabajamos para eso. Sé que es un buen peleador. Es grande, fuerte, pero pues siempre trabajamos para llevarnos la victoria, entonces eso venimos, él quiere ganar, yo quiero ganar y creo que va a ser pues, una buena pelea, pero pues trabajamos para el triunfo.
The triumph isn't going to be easy. I respect his skills, I respect his grandeur. Although he is a big opponent, this isn't a rags to riches story. I am training for this, I've trained hard for this, and I believe in our training.
Terra Moana, I now pass over to you, another international opponent, but this time you're fighting here on the Gold Coast, close to home, being a Brisbane boy, but you must feel pretty comfortable only driving an hour up the road.
First and foremost, just want to say kia ora ana tātou kātoto I roto te ngō mana o tō tātou tūku Yes Messiah, which means greetings to you all in the name of our Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ. What a beautiful day today here in the Gold Coast, and even better, what a stacked card we got this Saturday. Thank you to Tasman Fighters, Mick and Fran, for putting on such an awesome event. You know, look at all these boys by my right and on my left here, like this is a stacked and awesome card for Aussie boxing. So thank you for the opportunity, and it's an honor to be here. And also thank you everyone for coming out today and taking your time out to be here. Thank you very much. In regards to Montez, like you said, he's been training hard. I have also been training hard. I've been working hard in the gym non-stop, being consistent. I've got no doubts whatsoever in my mind. I believe I've got what it takes to go all the way to the top. Saturday night is just another stepping stone. Yeah, he's going to find out when we get in the ring.
Have you managed to see some much footage on him? What does he do well in your opinion?
You know, you got to give it to him. Mexicans, they all got this mad style. Like, they come forward, they're aggressive, so you got to hand it to them like that. They're renowned for it like that, but us Aussies, us Islanders, I believe our style's way better, so when he gets in there, I'm going to crack him.
And now you got the opportunity to be live on Stan Sport around the country.
Yeah, what an opportunity again, like being live on Stan Sports, thank you very much. And like you said, it's going to be on UFC Fight Pass around the world, worldwide. A lot of people have been messaging me, how can you watch it? So there you go, the UFC Fight Pass. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to putting on a display and just showing my skills and my prowess. Like, I could just go in there and physically overwhelm him. I know I can do that, but I'm just going to show you all that, you know, I've got a bit of skill behind this pretty face too.
Mick, you've had a hard time matching Terra Moana Jr.
He's always hard to match, but, you know, have a look at his record. He hasn't gone past 2 rounds, so, yeah, he's always tough to match, but, you know, everyone loves seeing Terra Moana out, and how would not anyone want Terra Moana to be on their card? So happy to have him on the card, and this is the second time this year he's been on Jai's undercard, so we're really excited about that. But if you have a look at these guys on this panel here, every single one of these fighters could be a main event on any domestic card here in Australia, without a doubt. They're all good guys, they're all good fighters, they're professionals, and couldn't be more excited to have all these guys on our particular card on Saturday night. So, as Terra Moana said, you know, it's tuned into Stan Sports pay-per-view, but UFC Fight Pass, that's where it's at globally. We've only made the announcement as of yesterday. It's only new, so if people are making contact with anyone about how they can watch it around the world, let them know UFC Fight Pass, and it's going to be globally promoted through them.
There we have it. That is the first 4 fights on the card. We're going to throw back now over to our host, Maria Rekowski, and the former IBO Cruiserweight champion, Ted Cofie.
So there you have it. That is the undercard for the Ring of Fire this Saturday night. What were your thoughts on what everyone had to say just now?
Interesting, very, very interesting. It's a massive, massive card. Stan pay-per-view, distributing, UFC Fight Pass. The guys are all ready. You know, it's only a couple of days till Saturday night, and then everyone's going to get it on. But it was nice to see that, you know, everyone was respectful, no tables tossed or chairs thrown. But it's good to see everyone's ready for this big event coming on Saturday.
Personally, I think the very first fight on this undercard is very exciting. You have Hayden Emerson versus Jack Gregory, both very good boxers. One is a come-forward, strong fighter, and the other one is a skilled boxer who can punch and move. So from the very first fight on this card, you are going to have fireworks. Is there any fight in particular that you are excited about, specifically?
Oh, you know what? I'm excited about all the fights. I mean, you know, Ben Mahoney is a great boxer. Jason Malone is coming to go to try and get a world title again. So he's looking to re-up and do that. Max McIntyre's here, showing us all the money show stuff that he's got. And across the board, it's a very, very good fight. But I'm looking forward to seeing Terra Moana deliver some destruction. I think if I really had to pick one, I'd like to pick that one.
Yeah, as Mick said, he hasn't gone past 2 rounds in a fight so far, so I'm hoping that Herman is the one that can get the fight to go all the way. But, you know, that is heavyweight boxing. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, Jake Wiley's in great form as well. You know, he's had a couple of great fights this year. And but, you know, Paul Fleming is coming off a bit of a layoff, and he's going to do something special to see that he can catapult his career. So this is an amazing platform to be able to either catapult your career or move on to the next phases very quickly. So it's really interesting, you know, now that we've got such great fighters, evenly matched fights all the way up to the main event.
Yeah, touching on Paul Fleming and Jake Wiley, that is an incredible matchup. Paul Fleming is someone who had, I think, 120 amateur fights before he turned pro. He was Australian champ a number of times. He went to the Beijing Olympics. And then you have Jake Wiley, who I think he turned pro at 18 years old. He took on George Kambosos at the start of this year, and he did that on a couple of days' notice. And even though he lost that fight, there is a world in which Jake Wiley did enough to win that fight. So if he did that on a couple of days' notice, imagine what he can do with a full camp. So Jake Wiley versus Paul Fleming is an absolutely incredible matchup, and I cannot wait to see it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one, but this is boxing per se. I mean, you can get people that really come from nowhere, land one big punch, and suddenly at the top of the echelon, you know, and it offers that opportunity, and it's instant must-watch TV when you're talking about boxing, because you can have the Olympic, you know, pedigree, you can have everything behind you, and then you get somebody that really is quite novice in the sport that can land a good left hook, and it's all she wrote. So this is why we, you know, in boxing, you always say you should be surprised at nothing, but we're always being surprised by things that happen either way.
Boxing, anything can happen. Yeah. And on to the last couple of fights on the card. The fighters are getting ready now to have a chat on their half of the press conference. Sure. We have, like I said, Paul Fleming, Jake Wiley. We have the Money Max show coming up, and then the main event themselves. I'm so excited to see it. What are you predicting for Opetaia versus Cinkara?
Well, as I said, you know, Jai Opetaia is top of the echelon. You know, he's here to show destruction, and he's got the Marvin Hagler-esque methodology about just going forward and taking all challenges. But you know, we're going to see. It's going to be a big task, but it's going to be an interesting task. It'd be great to see this main event.
I'm excited to hear them talk about it. So let's throw back now to Thomas Shriver for the second half of the Stan Sports pay-per-view press conference.
Let's continue and welcome first competing Saturday in a 10-round super lightweight contest. From Penrith, New South Wales, Australia, the former Olympian Paul Showtime Fleming. From Warwick, Queensland, Australia, Jake the Machine Wiley. Competing in our co-main event Saturday, it's scheduled 8 rounds. It will be for the vacant WBC Super Middleweight Australasian Championship. Let's welcome from Toowoomba, Queensland, Australia, Jed Gunson Morris. And from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, Max Money McIntyre. And ladies and gentlemen, our highly anticipated main event this Saturday, scheduled for 12 rounds, and it will be for the IBF and Ring Magazine Cruiserweight Championships of the World. Let's now welcome the challenger, a native of Germany, now fighting out of Istanbul, Turkey, undefeated. Let's welcome Hussein the Hurricane Cinkara. And we now welcome the defending world champion from Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia, Jai Opetaia. We have with us Tasman Fighters promoter Mick Francis, and we hand things back over to your host, Rob Schyff.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main card for the Ring of Fire, Opetaia versus Cinkara. Now, this does have big fight feel written all over it. Not much bigger than the MC from Riyadh season, Mr. Thomas Schreiber, doing an amazing job now coming down under to represent this great card. Some stacked fights that we've seen on the undercard, and now the 3 main fights of the evening. Jake Wiley, Paul Fleming, Max McIntyre, and Jed Morris, and obviously Jai Opetaia and Hussein Cinkara. We're going to start with Paul Fleming, Paul Showtime Fleming from Tully, Queensland, a former Olympian, one of the most elite strikers in his weight division, now returning to the ring against the machine, Jake Wiley. Paul, this is big fight feels. You are on the card, mate, and this is the most talked about fight of the undercard around the country. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, it makes me feel like I'm at home, man, like I never left. I live for these big moments. I've fought on a lot of big cards. The very first stand card, me and Jackson in England had a war, and it was rated the fight of the year. It's one to remember, and that's what I plan for this. You know, another fight of the year, another show. I know I got tough competition on this card, but you know I'm there to steal the show.
What does Jake Wiley bring to the table when he stands across from you in the ring?
He's big, high work rate, throws a lot of punches, pressure, but I think I've got the moves to get the job done. Turn back the clock to 2 years ago when I fought Charlie Suarez and lost a close fight against him. If I can channel that, it should be an easy night.
Why is it such a talked about fight amongst the boxing community of Australia?
Because I'm Showtime. Everyone loves to see it. I show up, man. Every time I'm in the ring, I show up and I put on a show. So, you know, and I think it's the clash of styles too. You got the pretty southpaw boxer, mover, slick, fast hands, and you got the work rate machine, high punch volume banger who loves the fight. I don't mind a fight too, but you know, bigger weight, I plan to put on a show and show my skills and, you know, be pretty in there.
I might throw straight away to his opponent, the machine, Jake Wiley, via Warwick, now calling Fortitude home. Jake, your response to Paul's comments?
Yeah, look, I'm just really looking forward to the fight. Luke and I have had a great training camp leading into this one. He brings something different to what we're usually used to, so I look forward to showing you all on Saturday night.
What do you think it's such a talked about fight around the boxing community of Australia?
Well, he's been there. He's been right up the top, and he had a great career and beat some credible opponents. I'm the young and upcomer, so I guess you could say it's the old bull against the young bull. So I think that's why it's making such a big talking point. See where he's at in his game and see where I'm at in my game, and I believe I'm going to get the win on Saturday night.
You've had a very, very big year for the people that don't know. You fought some big names in some tough fights and in some early door call-ups. Now, how do you see this fight playing out between yourself and Paul Showtime Fleming?
Yeah, I've had a really active year. I've been busy, which is good, and I like to keep that momentum rolling off the big fights. As everyone knows, I've took that fight with George Kambosos on 5 days' notice and gave him one of the hardest fights of his career. So rolling off the back of that created a lot of doors, and I had a big fight there with Huey Dibb back in August this year. So this came up at perfect timing right before Christmas. Should set me up for a good 2026.
It should do. Mick, what an exciting fight to have on the card. Mate, you must be just super pumped when you got the call up that this fight could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of these guys are great fighters. Young bull against old bull. You've got to remember, Showtime's an ex-Olympian. He's had a great amateur career, had a great professional career. Probably one of those guys that should have had a world title shot by now, but obviously through misfortunes has missed out. Look, he could rekindle his career. Who knows what's going to happen? Because he isn't a professional. He's in the gym all the time. So who knows? But this guy over to my right, he's a professional too. He's from a very, very strong stable. He trains his ass off, and if anyone watched that Kambosos event, 5 weeks' notice, he really stuck it to him. So it's going to be a really tough fight, and it's a genuine 50-50 fight. So I'm really happy to have it on the card and can't wait to see it.
That one live on Stan Sports, but it is one of the most talked about fights amongst the boxing community. Paul Showtime Fleming and Jake Wiley, the machine. That one is one you definitely have to circle. It's going to be an absolute barn burner. From there, we move on to the money show. Max McIntyre, the IBF Pan-Pacific WBC Australasia Super Middleweight title on the line. He's relinquished the IBF Pan-Pacific title. Now this one, he faces the Toowoomba boy, a bull rider, Jed Gunson Morris, all the way from Toowoomba, trained by Coach Corbin and managed by the King of the West, Brendan Smith. Jed Morris, a big fight. Now you've talked all through the social media and lead up that you see holes in Max McIntyre's game and that you are here to dethrone the money show.
Yeah, look, firstly, I just want to thank Tasman for having me on, but yeah, I'm super excited. I think I've got what it takes to put a stop to him, and I know I've done the work. I've had a great camp, I've had some great sparring, and I'm just excited to get in there.
What does he do well? Because he's very flashy, and we've seen him rise up through the ranks very quickly.
Yeah, look, he's a tricky opponent. I'm not underestimating him. I know he's very good, and we've trained and worked on the areas that we think we can capitalise on. So as long as I do what I need to do right, I think I'm more than capable of beating him.
What makes you think that he's the most called out fighter in Australia?
Oh, I don't know. He's been built up well. He's had some good highlight reels, but I think the table's about to turn.
Ooh, the tables are about to turn. We throw now to the money show, Max McIntyre. This for the WBC Australasia Super Middleweight title. Max, will the tides turn?
It's the money show time, baby. It's my destiny. My destiny is to take over. Saturday night, the takeover continues.
Now, you've had a very tough training camp shape up. Jeff has been training you very hard. You've even been getting rounds to the man to my right and the main event for this evening, Jai Opetaia. How have you progressed through this camp and how have you improved?
Yeah, it's such a pleasure to get rounds with Jai and, world-class rounds. And it's a pleasure to be on such a good card, thanks to Mick. And best camp I've ever had, best sparring I've ever had, so Ready to go Saturday night. Road to TBE, baby.
Co-main event, you are fast becoming a regular under these bright lights here and under Jai Opetaia.
Yeah, it's so good. Third Jai Opetaia, undercard of the year, so no better way to get my name out there, and the rise is coming quick.
Mick, do you have a superstar in the rise in Money Max McIntyre?
Yeah, I think so. That's why he gets his shot as a co-main on such a card. Like, you know, going back when Giles having his 9th fight, there's no chance that, you know, he would be on a card like this. And we push pretty hard to be on these type of cards, but the opportunities that Jai's given these younger fighters on Tasman fighters is just second to none. But Max McIntyre, you know, he's the one to look out for. He's going to be a star in the making right now, and he's going to be one to watch for in the future for sure.
Now, Jed Morris has talked up a big game. He's here to fight. He's here to steal the show. Makes the fight all that more exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, it's this particular fight, you know, someone's going to get knocked out. If you have a look at their careers, they're both 8 wins, 7 knockouts. They've both got power. They're both explosive. They're about the same sort of size, so both the same sort of age. So it's going to be exciting. So someone's going to go to sleep.
Now, Max, the most talked about fighter and called out fighter in Australia at the moment. You're progressing him. You've got a clear plan. What do you see for his future?
Yeah, look, it's all about progression with Max. You know, I spoke to his coach earlier. He's a little bit more ambitious, but you know, we just got to go through the gears, and you know, you got to do the right thing by these guys. So, you know, this is a good little test for him. This is probably his toughest test yet. Every time we put him in the ring, we slowly increase with the ability of the opponents. So, yeah, he's going through the gears, and he's very impressive. But it's not only what he does in the ring, it's what he does outside of the ring. He's a really good guy. If anyone gets to know this fellow, you know, he's the type of guy you'd bring over for dinner. But he's a great sort of a character, and Australia needs to get behind him and follow his career.
Have you been over for dinner, Max?
No, I haven't, unfortunately.
Too far away.
There we have it. We've just called you out on that one. Dinner. We've got a dinner appointment to make here. Now we move through to our main event of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, a once-in-a-generational fighter, Australia's champion, the king of the cruiserweights, the most feared in his division, the IBF and Ring Magazine champion, a man that's spoken about right now in the pound-for-pound records, and one that everyone's excited to see move through to heavyweight, the king of Australian boxing. This is Opetaia versus Cinkara, live on Stan Sports and around the world on the UFC Fight Pass. I now move towards his opponent all the way from Turkey, Hüseyin Cinkara, and his interpreter, Fidel Turkle. And we now ask the first questions because the main event. Mr. Cinkara, welcome to Australia. Welcome to being part of the main event. What kind of challenges does Jai Opetaia provide?
Öncelikle burada bulunmaktan çok memnunum, mutluyum. Tabii bir de buradaki insanları çok sevdim, burayı çok sevdim. Buradaki insanların da Türklere olan sevgisini de gördüm. Bu da beni ayrıca çok memnun etti.
I just wanted to say thanks for having us here. I'm very happy to be here. I really like the people here. I really like the country and the Turkish community here for getting behind me. It's been excellent. I can't say too much, as much as what I should, and how much the Turks have got behind him since he's been here.
Biz çok çalıştık bu maç için gerçekten. İyi çalıştık ve hazır geldik bu maça. Motivasyonumuz çok yüksek.
He's worked very hard for this fight, and they've covered all bases. They're ready to go. There's nothing that he believes he's forgotten. He's ready to fight. He's bringing the game.
Not too many fighters have called out Jai Opetaia. What makes you so confident? Is it just the work that you've put in camp?
C şu anda şampiyonların içinde en iyisi. Hem karakter olarak hem de sporculuğuyla çok saygı duyuyorum. O yüzden zaten ona karşı dövüşmek benim için ayrıca bir motivasyon. Ben buraya geldim, tüm motivasyonumla, tüm imanımla, tüm inancımla geldim bu maçı kazanmak için.
First of all, he wants to just explain that he knows that Jai is the best champion out there in the cruiserweight division. He has total respect for not just his fighting ability, but his demeanour and his character. He's a very nice man. You can see that. He goes, but you know, I've come here prepared, and I with all my belief in all my, not just my in myself, but because of the belief the Turks have in me as well, I'm gonna bring the fight come Saturday night.
And what would it mean for you to dethrone the king of the cruiserweights? What would it mean for him to dethrone the king of the cruiserweights and win on Saturday night?
Cumartesi günü iki dövüşçü karşı karşıya gelecek. İkimiz de en iyisini yapacağız. Şimdi tabii ki ben burada nasıl dövüşeceğim, nasıl yapacağım bunu konuşmak istemiyorum. Ama iki dövüşçü cumartesi günü bir araya gelecek ve elinden geleni yapacak. İyi olan da kazanacak.
Respectfully speaking, he goes, on Saturday night, there's going to be two fighters in that ring. We both believe we're going to win. We're both going to bring our best game, and the best man will win. And I believe that's going to be me.
Jai Opetaia, we've talked about you so much. Now it's very rare for fighters to actually want to call you out. Most fighters do get the call up to see if they want to fight you. They say yes. We see them talk up a game as they move through fight week and the media. But this man has genuinely wanted to fight you. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, good on him. You know, it's just another day in the office for us. You know, I'm prepared for 12 rounds of war, man. I keep saying it, but we've been in the trenches. We've ticked every box. Let's do it.
Another international opponent, a big stage, live on Stan Sports, UFC Fight Pass around the world. It's been challenging for you to get fights, but this man's in front of you now. What challenges does he bring when you face him on Saturday night?
It's been challenging to get the right fights. You know, I'm looking for those progress fights, but, you know, we're here now. He does bring a lot of challenges. You know, you don't become number one mandatory on accident. You know, he's the first one to sort of step up. I'm sure they offered him some cash to step aside so we could get a different fight, but, you know, he believes he can win. So he's got nothing to lose, man. He's coming to win, so it makes him dangerous. But we are ready for the danger. You know, we prepare in those deep waters all day. So whatever he brings, we got an answer to. You know, I'm curious to see how he comes out. How hungry is he? You know, how tough is he? So let's find out on Saturday.
Each opponent's very different. What's been the main idea or the main tactic that Tapu Opetaia, your father and trainer, what's the main thing that he's been saying throughout this fight camp that you have to focus on?
You know, we don't change our style too much. We perfect the craft. You know, minimal mistakes. You know, we get fitter, stronger, and we try and tighten. You know, there's obviously a few punches that we've been working on a bit extra that we think we can work, but we are ready for anything. Whether he comes out aggressive, we fight fire with fire, we box, we brawl, whatever comes, let's do it.
Your third world title in the same year, in the same city. It's usually very difficult for a world champion to be matched that well and to stay that busy, that way avoiding inactivity. How ready are you now to make sure that you cement yourself in history and take on the rest of the world?
You know, this is a very important fight for my career. You know, I've got my world titles on the line, so losing to me is not an option. You know, it's third time here this year on the Gold Coast, so thank you to everyone for coming here again. You know, they really turn up. We've got another sold-out arena. It's special, man. And to give the boys a platform, you know, I didn't have these platforms coming up for the rankings. You know, there was no big world title fights and stuff for me to fight on, so it's something to be proud of, man. And the talent that's been up on these tables it's crazy, you know, because these are my peers, these are my people. I've seen them come from, you know, the start and then progress into the champions they are today. So it is something to be very, very proud of, you know. Shout out to Tasman Fighters for giving these people a great experience every time we have these fights. But like I said, man, we got a job to do on Saturday and we got to make sure we get it done.
Mick, you have a once-in-generational fighter to your left, a superstar who loves being able to give back and provide opportunities for the undercard. Quite a special human you have with you.
Absolutely, and that's who Jai is. Everyone knows Jai. You know, he means business in the ring and he's business outside of the ring. So, and one thing when I first got involved with Jai, I was always talking about, you know, creating these platforms for and give these younger fighters the chance to fight on these big cards. And you know, Jai's actually the guy that wants to do these big fights here in Australia. I know we're looking for these big fights around the world. While these guys are ducking, Jai's giving these guys the opportunity. And you know, there's been a couple of things mentioned today about Mick and Fran, you know, another sold-out arena. But, mate, the reality is, mate, Australia's coming to watch this guy here. You know, this is the guy, this is the star. And he is a once-in-a-generational fighter. He is the best fighter to ever come out of this part of the world, hands down. I'll challenge anyone on that. He's only 30 years old. He's only getting started. There's bigger things to come, but he's the most feared fighter in the world. Forget about divisions. He's the most feared fighter in the world. Now, every other division, there's some animals in different divisions, but they seem to be able to make fights. This guy has been offering to fight these guys for a can of Coke and a Mars bar to get these fights across the line, and they're still not facing him. So, you know, it just goes to show how much of a talent this guy is. You know, remember going back to the Olympics 2012. He was the youngest Australian to ever represent Australia in the Olympics at boxing. So just that on its own is massive. He's been a star his whole way through. So, you know, we are lucky to have Jai here for the third time this year. It is sold out again. Every time we've had Jai here, the arena gets sold out. Going back 12 months ago, they said, oh, Jai doesn't sell. Well, bullshit. Have a look at these arenas. He's selling them out not only on the day, he's selling them out a week before. I think the David Nika fight was 2 weeks before. So, you know, credit to not only us Tasman fighters, but it's a team effort. But Jai Opetaia, he's the star here.
Mick, final question, and we'll make this one very brief if we could. The importance of keeping Jai active, not waiting for opponents. If they don't want to fight, we move on and we continue to fight. How important is that, especially with you know, a world champion?
Yeah, definitely. And at this level, the worst thing for guys at this level is inactivity. Inactivity, you know, the guys go stale. They go, you know, their minds go elsewhere. They've got to stay active. They've got to stay in the media. They've got to stay, you know, stay in the gym. And yeah, there's no better place to do this here on the Gold Coast. And shout out to Experience Gold Coast. Well, these guys have been a partner not only for this year, they're also a partner way back when Jai fought Breeders back in 2022. So shout out to these guys, because these guys make these things happen here on the Gold Coast as well. But you know, like, it's all about legacy. We're all leaving legacies here, and thank you for everyone for coming out and supporting.
Ladies and gentlemen, Opetaia versus Cinkara, Saturday night, December 6th. Live on stand, the QR code is available. The venue is sold out. Make sure you grab your pay-per-view on UFC Fight Pass around the world. A star-studded undercard. We will now throw back over to our host, Maria Rekowski, and the former IBO cruiserweight champion, Ted Cofie.
So there you have it. We have now officially met every single fighter that will be fighting this Saturday, December 6th, on Tasman Fighters Ring of Fire. What did you think of that press conference and what everyone had to say?
I thought it was fantastic. I mean, all the fighters are ready. Everyone's ready to go. We could do a whole episode on Paul Fleming's grills, but we won't even go there. We'll just go straight to the main event and just say that Hussein Cinkara is here from Germany and Turkey, looking to really do something devastating. And Jai Opetaia is going to do something devastating, as he always does. We're really looking forward to this fight, this card, and this main event.
As Hussein said, he is here to dethrone the king. But Jai Opetaia is one feared man, and I think the entire city of Gold Coast is ready to see it, and the rest of the world is ready to see it on Stan Sports pay-per-view. Just a reminder that the QR code is on your screen now. Make sure you scan that and get prepared for this weekend's pay-per-view right here live on Stan Sports. See you this Saturday.